What's going on, y'all? Today I'm going to do a video I posted online. It's titled "How to Play Chess Like a Pro for Non-Chess Players." So if you're interested in chess, or you're interested in learning chess, you can watch this video. And we're going to look at it right now.
What's going on, y'all? I'm gonna walk y'all through how to play the game of chess. I'm on
This is by chess.com, by the way, too. Just of course, I'll let y'all know that.
chess.com, the app, and basically how the pieces move. This teaches you how the pieces move, so let's try to see what's going on.
Chess is one of the oldest and most recognized games in the world. It is an exciting game of strategy and planning, which is why it is seen as a symbol of intelligence. However, chess is easy to learn and can be enjoyed by anyone at any level. Chess is played on an 8x8 board with 64 squares and 32 pieces, and the game is all about checkmating the king. Once the king is in checkmate, which we'll explain later.
Yeah, and you'll realize I was putting a little commentary in the video. You might not hear me clear. My intention wasn't even to post this online, but I was just playing around with my phone. So just, I'm sorry if it's a distraction to you guys that I'm talking in the background.
Then the game is over. So to start, let's meet the king. Even though the king is the most important piece in chess, it isn't the most powerful. The king can only move one square at a time in any direction.
Too.
Here are the squares where the white king can currently move.
All the grandmasters know
Here's
about
one
it.
move.
Now
the king could move here.
All the chess players, that's
and here's
great,
another king move.
Real good on
in chess, both players have identical sets of pieces. You have a king, and so does your opponent. So each player will take turns making a move until the game is over.
Get this app if you're really interested in learning how to play the game of chess.
Now that you've learned how the king moves, it's your turn to practice moving the king.
Alright, so we're going to start with the king, right? We're just going to read the dialogue log box at the bottom. It says the king.
So basically, the king moves one space in any direction. A king, if a king's in check, king cannot move into check. But let's just stick to the basics of the game.
Is marching to the top corner of the board. Can you move a king straight up one square to get closer to the corner?
So it says the king is marching to the top of the corner of the board. Can you move the king straight up to one square to get to the closest to the corner?
This is the directional pattern of the king. The king moves one square every piece, every move. So now it says excellent. The king climbs up the board and is now touching the top left corner of the square. See, this is the top left corner of the square right here. Right. The king is ready to move to the top left corner square. Can you move the king straight up the board to reach the square? As we could. Right. Now we're gonna go to the next one. Now we're looking at the king on the C3 coordinate. It says the king wants to move into the center of the board. Can you move the king up one square diagonally to the right? One square diagonally to the right. One square diagonally to the right. Saying great job. You move the king to.
So for people that don't know, diagonally is from, if y'all looking at my mouse, this is diagonally right here. That's diagonally.
To the center of the board. Basically, that's the center of the board right there where the king is at. What's next now? The king wants to move to another center square. This time, can you move the king to the side one square to the right? One square to the right.
These four squares are considered the center square of the board. These four squares right here.
There we go. Great job. The king visits another center square. See, the center square is basically those four squares. So basically, let's look at this one now. It says the king wants to move to the corner of the square it is touching, right? Can you move the king straight down into the corner? straight down into the corner. The corner of the square is touching, right? The king's right here. Can you move it straight down into the corner? Boom. See? Fantastic. The king reaches the corner. Let's click on next now. Alright? Next lesson.
The king might be the most important piece in chess, but the queen is by far the most powerful. Like the king, the queen can move in any direction, forward, backward, to the sides, as well as diagonally. Unlike the king, the queen can move as far as she wants in any direction. The one thing the queen can't do is jump over other pieces. Let's look at some queen moves. In this position, the queen could go all the way up the diagonal, she could slide all the way across the board, she could now move all the way down here, or she could make some shorter moves, like here, here, and here's another queen move. Earlier we mentioned that the queen cannot jump over other pieces. In this position, let's say the queen wants to get to this square. Notice that the king is currently in the way of the queen. So the queen would have to move to another square first, and only then, on the next turn, could the queen move here. Now that you've learned how the queen moves, it's your turn to practice moving the queen.
So let's start challenge. I can't really hear the audio too good. That's the thing about the screen recording. But nonetheless, I start this. So it says the powerful queen wants to travel all the way to the top of the board in a single corner, in a single move, I mean. Can you find the move? Right? The powerful queen wants to travel all the way to the corner, the top corner of the board, in a single move. Can you find the move? The top corner of the board will be hold up, in a single move.
That was confusing to me because the top corner of the board, I'm looking at it as this one, H8 and A8. And they said in a single move, so it's impossible to move to the top corner of the board in a single move. That's just to me, that's why it confused me a little bit. And on top of everything, just leave it at that.
I don't know this one, because a single move to the top corner is either H8 or A8. So I don't really see it, but we could try this move since it's the furthest top corner. We could try this move right here.
I made a mistake too.
Nice try, but this move, if you get it wrong, you get it wrong. They say nice try, but this move does not reach the top of the chessboard in a single move. Okay, if they would have been the top of the chessboard, there's this move right here. Okay, excellent, great job. That's not the corner though, so oh well, don't worry about it. Excellent job. The queen reaches the top of the board in a single move. Right? Now the queen wants to move sideways to the right, visiting the corner to the board in a single move. Can you make the move the queen? Can you move the queen to that square? So to the right is this square right here. Right? Great job. The queen slides to the corner of the board. Now, right, the queen wants to slide down the diagonal and reach the lower left corner hand, the lower left hand corner of the board.
Remember, the diagonal is this way. That's diagonal. That's how the queen moves. That's what they ask you to do.
Board in a single move. Can you find that move? So it's this. That's the lower left hand corner right there. All right. Now it says the queen wants to move straight up the board and reach the top left corner square, but white is in the way. Can you find a queen move where it can reach?
This one is a little tricky for individuals, but if you could nail this one, then you kind of understand the concept of the movement of the queen.
Go on the following turn. So it says one more time, I gotta read it again, and it's okay to read it again. It says the queen wants to move straight up the board and reach the top left corner. Top left hand corner. See, the top left hand corner is A8. The queen wants to move straight up the board and reach the top left hand corner of the square, but white king is in the way. Can you find the queen move where it can reach its goal on the following turn? See, boom. See, so we're gonna have to come from here to here. Oh wow. Okay, that's right. Excellent job.
See, that's right too as well. But they wanted another route.
The queen can now. I got it wrong.
I didn't get it wrong. He says, can you find another square for the queen that does the same thing? See? So
Why says excellent job though? Hold up. Excellent job. The queen can now move to the left-hand corner of the square on the next turn. Can you find another square for which the queen that does the same thing? Um. I get it. I get it. Hold up. It might be this one. Let's try it. Yeah, it might be this one. Yeah, so you go here, then you come here. Fantastic. The queen is now ready to move up the diagonal and reach the desired square in the next turn. The queen is ready to climb the diagonal to reach the top left-hand corner of the board. Can you find the move? Come here. Boom. Great job. Next lesson.
After the queen, the rook is the second most powerful piece. It can move up, down, and to the sides as far as it wants, but the rook can only move in straight lines. Like the other pieces we've looked at so far, the rook also can't jump over any other piece. Let's take a look at some rook moves. In this position, the rook could move straight up, it could slide to the corner, it could move all the way down the board, now it could swing to the other side, or it could make some shorter moves, like here and here. Now that you've learned how the rook moves, it's your turn to practice moving the rook.
Alright, let's start the challenge. The rook wants to travel up and reach the other side of the board in just one move. Can you find that move? So, you want to move up? Come here. Boom. It says the rook would like to visit one of the four corners squares on the chessboard. Can you find the corner where it can move to now? Being that the king is on h8, the only corner square that it can move is on a8. Both rooks want to move sideways to the right all the way to the other side of the board. Which rook can reach the other side in a single move? Which rook can reach the other side in a single move? Is this rook right here. Because the king is in the way. When the king is in the way, you can't jump over the king. It's not a knight. Okay, boom. It says both rook wants to reach the top right hand corner square, but only one rook can travel there. And only two moves. Which rook? Only one rook. I said rook. Only one rook can reach the top right hand corner in two moves. So which one is that? Is this one. Is this one. Only one rook can reach the top right hand corner in two moves. So one move.
yeah, this is going to be a long video. I'm going to just walk y'all through the directional pattern of each piece, and then I'm going to show y'all another example of how you could further your understanding of chess based off of playing the actual game against a computer.
The rook in the lower right hand corner is blocked by its own piece. The rook wants to move to the lower left hand corner in just two moves. It wants to move in the lower left-hand corner in just 2 moves. The lower left-hand corner in just 2 moves.
I'm tired, by the way, too. This is like 4 o'clock in the morning. I was doing this. You know what I mean? I was real tired. Wrong timing, but nonetheless, let's continue watching the video. I just had to throw that in there.
So, in order to get to the lower left-hand corner, we'll have to do it. The rook wants to move to the lower left-hand corner in just 2 moves. Lower left-hand corner in just 2 moves. The rook wants to reach the lower left-hand corner in just 2 moves. 1. I don't. Could they read it again? The rook in the lower. Okay, my bad. I said it wrong. The rook in the lower right-hand corner is blocked by its own bishop. The rook wants to move to the lower left-hand corner. Okay, in just 2 moves. I read it right. So it's coming here. The lower left-hand corner. Oh, the rook in the lower right-hand corner is blocked by the 2 bishops. There's 2 own pieces. The rook wants to move to the lower left-hand corner in just 2 moves. Lower left-hand corner in just 2 moves. In just 2 moves. This is confusing. What the hell are you talking about? The rook in the lower right-hand corner is blocked by its own piece, right? That's this piece, right? The rook wants to move to the lower left-hand corner in just 2 moves. Oh, okay, I got it. So this one is, this one's tricky. How they? The rook's one.
And another thing I want to throw in there, it's a thing you can sign up for called Chess Diamond. And with Chess Diamond, basically, it teaches you a lot of things. It could be from being a beginner and learning the directional patterns, the directional movements of each piece, to complex situations like the rule of the square, and how you could time a pawn and see if you got enough room to catch it while it's moving to the end of the board. That's a complex explanation, but it teaches you things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? So if you get chess diamonds, I think it's like $100 a month. But if you really want to learn how to play chess, you could further your knowledge on playing chess by getting chess diamonds. So that's why I always say chess.com is no joke. You know what I'm saying? If you really want to learn anything, you can learn it. By playing, by signing up for diamond. But $100 is no joke. So it's also puzzles you can solve. Puzzles you can solve on it might have something called you might have to checkmate a king with 2 knights. You know what I'm saying? Just giving examples out there. I know y'all, the title of this video is on how to play chess like a pro for non-chess players. So I'm just giving you an understanding. Once you learn it, you can further your understanding of the game of chess by getting diamond. But that's another step. Keep that in the back of your mind just in case.
I'm about to give up on this one. I don't know the answer to this one. It's okay to not know the answer too. But yeah, man, I don't know. I might be reading it wrong. Let me read it one more time. The rook in the lower right-hand corner is blocked by its own piece. That's this piece right here. The rook wants to move to the lower left-hand corner in just 2 moves. Can you move? Oh, another piece. Can you move another piece to open up the rook's path? Yeah, of course. Of course. I swear I didn't read it that way. Okay, let's go to the next one. Next lesson is the bishop. All right?
The bishop is one of the most interesting pieces in chess because it can move as far as it wants, but only on diagonals. The bishop, just like the other pieces that we've met so far, cannot jump over other pieces. This means that the bishop has to stay on the same colored square it starts the game on for the entire game. In chess, you get two bishops. This bishop is called the light squared bishop because it can only travel on the light squares. Meet the other bishop that you have in the game, the dark squared bishop. It moves exactly like the light squared bishop, but only on the dark squared diagonals. Now that you've met both bishops, let's take a look at how they move. With just one move, the dark squared bishop can enter the longest dark squared diagonal on the board. Let's do the same with the light squared bishop. Now, notice no matter how many bishop moves we make, the bishops never cross paths. They never block each other. And the reason why is because they're on opposite colored squares, so they never interfere with each other. They make a good team. Now that you've learned how the bishops move, it's your turn to practice moving the bishops.
The bishop wants to move to the other side of the board in a single move. Can you find the move? The other side of the board in a single move right here. Great job. The bishop travels across the entire board in a single move. The bishop dreams of visiting wow, that's crazy. Says the bishop dreams of visiting the top left-hand corner of the board. Can you find a path to move it there in just 2 moves? The top left-hand corner, 1. Alright, it says the dark square bishop is in the center of the board. Can you move the light square bishop to the square directly to the right of it and have both bishops in the center? Fantastic. Both bishops enjoy great squares in the center. The bishop wants to travel to the other side and reach the top of the board in just 2 moves. Can you find the way? Okay, the bishop. I'm tired, man. Let me read it again, though. It says the bishop wants to travel to the other side and reach the top of the board in just 2 moves. Can you find the way? The bishop. In just 2 moves. Okay, it just says top side. The bishop wants to travel the other side and reach the top of the board in just 2 moves. Can you find? I mean, the only way you can move the top side of the board is to move here. You can't move nowhere else, only here. And then you could, travel to the top side of the board. Let's see. White bishop is ready to climb to the top of the board, chessboard. Move the bishop to the top of the diagonal. So you gotta move the bishop to the top of the diagonal. The top of the diagonal will be right here. Alright, great job. The bishop reaches the top of the chessboard. So the next lesson is the knight. Now, this is
the knight is perhaps the most fun piece in chess. It is the only piece in chess that does not move in some sort of straight line. It moves in a strange L shape. The other interesting thing about the knight is it's the only piece in chess that can jump over other pieces, like this. It takes a little practice to understand exactly how the knight moves. It goes 2 squares in one direction and then 1 square to the side, like this. Highlighted are all the possible squares the knight can move to on the next turn. Notice it always moves in the same pattern. 2 to the side and over 1, like this, or like this, up 2 and over 1, or down 2 and over 1. And notice that the knight moves from a light square to a dark square, and then on the next turn it moves from a dark square to a light square. The knight always switches colors with each turn it makes. Now that you've learned how the knight moves, it's your turn to practice moving this fun and tricky piece.
Okie dokie. To me, the knight is one of the most scariest pieces next to the queen. Let's start the challenge though and try to find out. Why it's one of the most trickiest pieces. Start the challenge. It says the knight wants to reach the top of the chessboard in one single move. Can you find the move? The top of the chessboard is this move right here. It says great job. the knight jumps to the top of the chessboard. Okay. The knights love to be in the center of the action. Move the knight into the center of the board. If you're moving the knight into the center of the board, you're moving it right here. Great job. The knight lands directly in the center of the board. White has one knight in the center of the board. Move the other knight in the center. So you gotta move the other knight in the center like this. Boom. Great job. Both knights are now in the center of the board. Most of the knight's squares are blocked by pieces. Can you find a forward move to bring the knight into the center of the board? A forward move to bring the knight into the center of the board is right here. Excellent. The knight jumps over its own piece to enter the center of the board. Find the square for the knight that would be able to reach all four of black's pieces. So this is the move right here. That'll reach all four. And when they say reach all four, it means attack all four pieces. The knight can attack the queen, the knight can attack the king, the knight can attack the rook, both rooks. Yeah.
Another interesting thing about this is when it's moving in this L-shaped formation, it's checking the king. It's checking the king. Therefore, once it's checking the king, you're gonna have to move your king out of check, and you're gonna lose most likely a queen, or you could also lose your two rooks. Hopefully you understand the concept because once a king is in check, you got to move out of check with the king.
All right.
The pawn sounds like it is the humblest of chess pieces, but it is really one of the most powerful. When working together, pawns are the soul of chess. Pawns have a few strange rules, so make sure to pay attention. Pawns can only move straight forward, and they can only move one square at a time. However, if it is their first move of the game, they can choose to move 2 squares forward if there is nobody blocking them, as pawns cannot jump over other pieces. Remember, the pawn can choose to advance 1 or 2 squares only on the first move. On all other moves, the pawn advances 1 square. Pawns are also the only piece in chess that cannot move backwards. One other thing that makes them strange is that while they can only move straight forward, pawns can only capture diagonally. And they can only capture 1 square away diagonally, even if
Signal. That's crazy. I don't know why. I got even signal here, so I don't know why. That's crazy. I'm trying to wind it a little bit.
capture diagonally. And they can only capture 1 square away diagonally, even if it...
Wow. Okay, let's see something. Be right back. Gotta check my own Wi-Fi box. Gotta check the Wi-Fi box. Oh boy, it looks good. I had to pause it too. Let me pause it sometime. Move on. Move faster. Let's see. I pause it. I'm editing this part of the video anyway. Let's see. The heck? That's my ping 2744. Try to disconnect my box and connect it. See? So I'm at 2744 right now. 2744. Let's try to go back. refresh the page.
Advance
27.
1 or 2 squares only on the first move. On all other moves, the pawn advances 1 square. Pawns are also the only piece in chess that cannot move backwards. One other thing that makes them strange is that while they can only move straight forward, pawns can only capture diagonally, and they can only capture 1 square away diagonally, even if it is their first turn. We will explain capturing in one of the next lessons. Let's see some pawn moves. In this position, since this pawn has yet to move in the game, white decides to move it 2 squares forward. Black, on the other hand, only advances this pawn 1 square. Remember, even though you can move your pawn 2 squares on its first move, you're not forced to do so. White now advances the pawn forward, and now both pawns are blocked and cannot move. In this position, how many white pawns can move? If you said 1, you're correct. Notice that this pawn is blocked by the black pawn directly in front of it. Remember, pawns cannot move backwards. White now has the option to move this pawn up 1 square. Notice this pawn cannot move 2 squares forward because the black pawn blocks it. Now it's your turn to practice using the pawns.
Okay, let's go. White pawn can move 1 or 2 squares on the first turn. Play the move that puts the pawn into the center of the board. If you want to go to the center of the board, you gotta move twice. Next, white has 2 pawns, but only one of the pawns can move 2 squares on the next turn. Which one is it? Being that the C2 pawn hasn't moved yet, the answer is C2 pawn. White has 3 pawns, but 2 of them are blocked by black pawns. Play the only move available. They could only move 1 space, being that it already possibly move 2 spaces in the first turn, the first move. And this pawn is the H4 pawn. White pawn seems small. White pawn seems small compared to black rook. Can you find a way to attack both in just 1 move? So basically, remember the pawn kills diagonally. So the move to attack both rooks is this move right here. White bishop is blocked from all directions. Move a pawn that opens up the diagonal. Open up the diagonal for the bishop. So you gotta move a pawn that opens up the diagonal. Remember, pawns only move forward, never backwards. So the only pawn that opens up the diagonal for the bishop is this move right here. And at the same time, I'm checking the king, but that's another story. Yep, attacking the black king.
Remember, your pawns are the only pieces that cannot move backwards, so what happens when they reach the other side of the board? They get a promotion. You must trade your pawn for another piece. It can be a knight, a bishop, a rook, or the powerful queen. It cannot stay a pawn, and it cannot become a king. Also, it does not have to be one of the pieces already captured in the game. Every pawn has the potential to be promoted into a queen. You could trade it for another queen and have 2 queens on the board, which is incredibly powerful. Now, let's practice promoting some pawns.
Let's start the challenge. White has 2 pawns. Can you promote one of them to the strongest possible piece of the next turn? Yep. You can choose the queen. That's the strongest piece. So it says great job. Great job. You promoted the pawn into a queen. The most powerful piece on the board. Notice the newly promoted queen is now attacking the black king. See, I'm attacking the king. White has a pawn 3 squares away from promoting and a... Let me read it over. I'm getting real tired, but it says white has a pawn 3 squares away from promoting and a pawn that is still on the starting square. What is White's best pawn move to play. The best pawn move to play is to come here. Yeah, just go up 2 times. Because you're trying to get to the corner of the board. And that's the only move that's not obstructed. The black pawn on H7 obstructs the white pawn. We have a pawn raise. Both sides are trying to promote a pawn as fast as they can. Oh, I'm tired, boy. Read it one more time. We have a pawn raise. Both sides are trying to promote a pawn as fast as they can. Which pawn should the white move to win the promotion race? This is the promotion race that they're talking about. Great job. White will promote first. Now let's promote the white pawn. See? And at the same time, you're attacking the square that the black pawn is about to get on to. So it'll say that white pawn is now a queen. Notice the queen controlled the promotion square of the black pawn. See? It says black pawns is one move away from promotion. Find the white move that protects the promotion of the square and saves the game. This one saves the game right here. This forces a draw. Forces a draw. Now you're defense. Now you're defensive technique. You save the game. White is up a pawn, but white is up a pawn, but white's move, advanced pawn, is blocked by a black pawn. White does have 2 pawns, one that side on the board. On that side of the board, excuse me guys, tired. Can you find a surprising pawn move that forces a pawn through to promotion? Man, I gotta read that again. It says white is up a pawn, but white's most advanced pawn is blocked by a black pawn. White does have 2 pawns on that side of the board. Can you find a surprising pawn move that forces a pawn through a promotion? Exactly. So the move that forces a pawn to a promotion is this move right here, because it's forcing me to kill, and I can just come up here. Right? Now I'm starting the next lesson. Setting up the board.
Now that you know how the chess pieces move, it's time to set up the game. Before you put the pieces on, make sure you turn the chessboard so that there's a light square in the bottom right corner. You can remember this as white on the right. The easiest way to start placing the pieces is to place all of the pawns on the second rank for each side. In chess, rank is the word for row. Let's put all of the white pawns on one side of putting the knights next to the rooks. We'll soon learn that the knights are placed on the B and G files. In chess, file is the word for column. To continue, let's put the bishops next to the knights. And now we're left with the king and the queen. Does it matter where they go? Yes, it does. The queen always goes on the matching square. The white queen goes on the light square, and the black queen goes on the dark square. Notice they should be lined up together. Finally, put the kings on the last empty squares. Now you're ready to play. In chess, each side takes only one turn at a time, and by tradition, white always moves first. Now that the board is set up, it's your turn to practice making moves for both sides.
Okay, let's go. We are going to set up the board by placing all of the white pieces on their starting square. Let's move the white rook to the back into the corner dark square where it starts the game. Alright, read it again. We are going to set up the board by placing all of white's pieces on their starting square. Let's move the white rook back into the corner dark square where it starts the game. Alright, so right here, this is the only corner dark square. That's where it starts, right? Now, you move the rook into the starting square. Now let's move the other one to the square where it begins the game. This one says, now let the knight back to its original square right next to the rook. Boom. Now you just do this. This one comes to C1.
So I'm basically tired now, but I understand the concept, hopefully, of how to set up the pieces based off of what we've seen in the introduction video.
Right, says you got it. Now the queen, remember the queen, the white queen always goes on its own color. So you come here. You come here. Remember the pawn. It's a great job. You moved all the white pieces to the back. Oh snap. Kind of dozed off.
See how tired I was? I started dozing off. That's funny, man. That's a funny moment.
Let's see how to move the pieces. It's completed. See, that's all we need. So this explains how the pieces move. You know, chess.com is a good way to practice on the directional patterns of the pieces. Now that you learned how each piece moves, you're ready to do like a practice game, probably against a computer. You can do a practice game against a computer. The person name, I believe his name is Jimmy. Go to just we'll X out this for now, and we'll go to play. Let's see. You play Jimmy. You can choose Jimmy. You can keep assist moves on. And it shows you, the directional patterns of these pieces, like we just went over. Thanks for watching, guys, and like and subscribe. All right, y'all. Peace out.
All right, y'all. Let me further this video and show y'all, pick up where I left off at. Because what I'm trying to explain to you guys is that in order for you to really understand the game of chess, you need to play an actual game of chess against a low-rated player. If you never played chess before and you just want to perfect your craft, or not even perfect your craft, you just want to play an actual game, the best way to play the actual game is against a computer and just understand, okay, this piece moves that way, that piece moves this way. So now what I'm going to do is basically open up chess.com and show y'all where I ended the video at. So remember, right? So what we're going to do now is go on. Remember, gotta go to play a computer. Sign up for chess.com just so you could you could follow this routine if you don't have a chess.com account. It's very simple. They got an app in the Apple Store. They got an app in Google Play, whatever you call it. So look, click on versus computer and play against the computer. Okay, see, we got Jimmy. Jimmy's got the lowest rating that I think. I think he has the lowest rating. What, is anybody lower than Jimmy? Oh, it is. Somebody named Martin. Let's just choose Jimmy for now. But let's choose Martin, matter of fact. So you choose him. His rating is 250. Right? So remember, keep it on assisted. You want to have it on assisted because you want all the tools available. You know what I'm saying? You want all of the tools available. So you click on assisted and you click on play. Right? Look. I'll explain to you what the arrows mean. The green arrows are the moves you can make. The green arrows, again, are the moves you can make. So, for example, all these pieces you can move, except for these three pieces. Remember what we went over in the instructions. Instead of these two pieces, I'm gonna just go over. Instead of the rook, you can't move the rook right now. You can't move the bishop right now. You can't move the queen right now. Remember, they can't jump over pieces like the knight can jump over pieces. Remember, the knight can jump over pieces, but these three pieces cannot jump over pieces, especially the king. So what we're going to do now, basically, is move one of these pieces that the arrow is telling us to move. Start this. Moved up one space. Again, you can move one of these pieces that they're telling you to move. Let's come up here in effect. Now, remember diagonal. Remember the diagonal pattern? Remember we went over this in the video. Only the pawn can kill that. The pawn can only kill diagonally. So since we kill a pawn diagonally, or we could ignore it and move up forward, but what we're going to do is kill a pawn diagonally so we could train our mind to think that way. Because that's something that your mind is really not trained to do. When a pawn kills diagonally, that's what we're going to do. He checks me. Now let me explain this check. What the red arrow means is basically he's threatening to kill a piece or he's checking the king. That's what the red arrow means. So look at the green arrows now. That's moves that I can make to avoid being to get myself out of check. That's moves that's recommended by the computer to avoid myself, to avoid check. So what we're gonna do is get out of check. It don't even matter. Let's see if he makes. We're gonna get out of check this way. All right. So again, the next move that we're gonna make is one of the moves in the green arrows. But over a period of time, you should understand. Okay, this move is better than that move. That move is better than this move. Over a period of time, you should understand that concept. But you're gonna learn soon enough what move is the best move to make. I'm just going off of what they say the best move to make is. Just so y'all can understand that. Okay, I'm following the arrows, the movement of the arrows. Now I'm gonna move the knight. Once I move the knight, remember what I'm doing. If I move the knight, I'm basically, let's see if I can draw an arrow. Yep. Once I move the knight, this is what I'm trying to do. I'm attacking this queen. Let's see if he sees that. See, he doesn't see that. Remember, if you kill a queen, the queen is one of the strongest pieces on the board, if not the strongest piece on the board. You understand what I'm saying? So the best move to make in a situation like this is kill a queen. We're going to watch the evaluation bar right here at the corner. This is called the evaluation bar, and it shows which move is best, the best move to make. Let's watch this move right here. We're going to kill a queen and watch the evaluation bar. Let's see. See, the evaluation bar stays high. That means it's the best move. It's a good move to make. Now think about this move. Now Again, we're looking at it from the perspective of the computer on what moves to make, right? So I'm going to choose what move I believe in my mind is the best move to make out of all the moves. And that should be your objective too, to choose what move you think in your mind is the best move to make out of all of the moves that they're recommended for you, right? So the reason I believe this is the best move to make is because once you check the king, you're also going to capture the knight. This is what I mean. Remember, the king moves in the L-shaped formation. See, it doesn't offer that as an option. Me killing the rook. So at the end of the day, I'm going to just follow like I said, I'm just follow whatever recommendations they have. The best move I can make right now is this. See, now it's offering me an alternative. I was hoping it would offer the alternative, killing the rook, and it did. So I'm going to kill a rook now. Now what they say? What move could I make now? What move is the best move to make? I would say, let me get out of trouble. Matter of fact, let me come up here. Watch the evaluation bar. If the evaluation bar goes down, that means that probably is not the best move. I'm coming up here. Okay, boom. Now I'm gonna run out here. I don't think that's. I'm gonna run out here now. Now I'm going to kill this piece right here because if you look at the bishop cannot kill me if I kill this pawn right here. But actually, a better move to make would be to kill, yeah, to kill upon my bishop. Once I kill upon my bishop, that forces him to move his king. Once I kill the king, once I kill his knight with my bishop, I feel like that's the best move I can make. So I'm gonna go for that. Now what I'm gonna do is come over here because I want to checkmate his king. Now what I could do is come down here. See how the arrows point downwards? Once I come down here, let's watch what happens. See? See this? Now I'm gonna swing my knight out here and see if I can checkmate his king. He doesn't allow me to. Nope. Um, so what I'm going to do here now is I'm going to kill his bishop. Just remember, the arrows is what's important. You don't have to have the same logical pattern as I have because you're a beginner at the end of the day. So what I'm trying to say is just worry about the arrows, and worry about your logic behind why you're making these moves. Once you do that, it's going to come like first nature to you. I guarantee you, most likely will come as first nature to you. So what I'm gonna do is kill this, and I'm hoping, being that I kill this piece, he kills me with his his rook, and I can checkmate him. You know. Okay. Now what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna kill the knight now. Once I kill the knight, I'm castle. See, this means a castle. You call this? They didn't talk about this in the game, but there's a lot of things they didn't talk about. But being that you're a beginner and they're trying to teach you everything, they're going to leave certain things out. But a castle, basically, this right here is called a queenside castle. And what a queenside castle normally is, why it's normally done, is done to protect your queen, your king, I mean, or it's a box the king in. So what we're going to do here is castle this way, right? So what you do is drag for the queenside castle, you drag your queen over to here. Look at the arrow. See the green arrow? That means you move your king over here, and you watch the rook. switch. That's what I wanted him to do. Now he lost the game. Once he moved his rook off of G8, he basically lost the game. See? Listen, guys, I just went over everything in full detail. If you watch it to the end, that means you're really trying to understand how to play the game of chess. And I salute you. Take your time with everything that I went over, or everything that yeah, everything I went over, and hopefully you grasp the concept if you really look forward to learning. A lot of people wrote me and they said, "Look, I'm trying to learn how to play chess." A lot of people just said that to me, like, "I'm trying to learn how to play chess." So this is a step. This is the best step. This is the best way I think you could go about learning how to play the game of chess. Um, this video is extremely long. I apologize about that, but this game is not. Sometimes it takes a while to learn certain things. And I believe chess is one of those things that it takes a while to learn. Grasp the concept to the best of your ability, and I hope you I'm gonna speed up the play of this video too. But hopefully you grasp a lot of these concepts and you work on perfecting your craft in the game of chess. And maybe one day I'll see you on the chessboard, or maybe one day I'll play you on chess.com. I can add you as a friend and play you on chess.com. So and thanks again for watching, man. I appreciate you guys. Like and subscribe. Y'all already know what to do. Really ain't nothing new. All right, guys. Peace out.